Hi, my name is Tara Melvin with Perfect Planning Events. I am here based in Washington, D.C., and this is my first time going live on YouTube. So I am here to talk about what I do best, and that is planning weddings and events. This is going to go into a little bit about blogs that I post. So with that in mind, I just want to highlight a little bit to you in reference to one of my latest blogs, 10 Steps to Planning Your Dream Wedding. And if you have questions as I go along here, please pop them in the chat box and I will try and answer them as quickly as I can. So let's talk about that. So what goes into planning your dream wedding? There are so many things out there that are going on, so many moving pieces to plan a wedding that it tests your patience and endurance, right? And then we have COVID on top of that. But I hope that with me going over a couple of these tips for you, that this will help you into planning your wedding. So step number one is setting the date. So after you immediately share the news of your engagement with your family and friends, now you need to sit down and let's talk about the date, right? So as you're talking about the date, you want to know what date that the two of you are going to decide on. Is it going to be just you and your partner that's going to decide on the date? Or is it going to be you and close family members deciding on that date? So think about symbolic dates, things that are important to you, special moments that you may have shared with each other. Are you going to be honoring any type of cultural traditions? And then are you going to possibly celebrate the season? Here in the DC market, you may want to take advantage of the cherry blossom season. Or if you know that where you live, that you love the fall season or winter season, spring, that may go into your decision as far as planning your date. Then also think about holidays. There are plenty of holidays that go around. Think about Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve. These are popular dates that just come to mind. However, when you're thinking about these dates, think about also as far as family and friends. Are they going to be able to take time off from their own family to share this special moment with you? So just a little something to think about when you're thinking about setting your date. Also about setting your date, last but not least, and I don't want to put a damper on things, the world that we're living in right now, the fluidity of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? So there are so many things that are going on with that, to having either no events or think about having your event outside, to also dwindling down to the number of people. So you definitely have to be flexible whenever it comes to that. So moving right along to number 2 in the planning process is choosing your venue. Now, whether you decide on a barn, a luxurious ballroom, a park, or a beach, destination location, keep these things in mind as far as where you want it to be, and is it going to be a part of the aesthetics that you are trying to achieve. And then again, just keep it in mind right now with the current situation that we have as far as COVID-19, as far as, especially if it's a destination wedding and you're going somewhere, that are you following the proper guidelines as going to another state or another country. Step number 3, make your money count. Where are you going to splurge? I always tell my couples, pick out the top 5 things that are most important to you, and that is where you're going to splurge and make your money count. I think that where you should concentrate your money on is definitely your venue, your photography, your wedding planner, just to name a few, and your entertainment. Those are key elements that I feel are important. There are many more, which I do cover over in my blog. Step number 4, communication. Communication is key. So communicating with your partner, keeping them involved in the planning process. And once you have identified any other key players that are vital to the process of planning, keep them informed too. Parents, sometimes become a little enthusiastic because their kids are getting married. So set those boundaries from the onset as far as what their role will be in the planning process. Then also your wedding party. Provide them with all the relevant information provided to them in time so that they can also prepare. Give them all of the key appointments that are related to their dress attire, and any other events besides the wedding day that they need to participate in. Know what's important. That's tip number 5. Know what is important to the two of you. Be crystal clear on your vision and what your goal is, your budget, and everything whenever you're talking with each other. Knowing what's important will serve as the North Star of planning your entire wedding. Number 6, and I think I said this a couple of times, be fierce and be flexible. Stay committed to your vision in your approach. Flexibility is key because things do happen. Things happen. So be flexible. Think about your guest list, the venue, the parameters that come around the venue. And then, your planner, I hope that you hire a planner. Your planner is going to help you to navigate through all of this, right? Step number 7, I want you to stay organized. So how are you going to stay organized? There are so many tools out there that you can utilize to help you to stay organized. From a simple planner that you write into every day so you can take notes, divide it up, categorize things. That's going to help you to compartmentalize the process of planning your wedding, to online tools such as Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks. These are some things that are out there and they're free. You don't have to pay anything. So stay empowered on your planning process, setting tasks and deadlines, and also delegating things to people within your immediate sphere so that way they can help you and it will not seem overwhelming. And if you've hired a planner, allow your planner to be the lead on what it is that you need to do and how to take action, because they have been through it. And I always tell my clients that I get married at least 10 to 15 times a year, so I'm used to this. You have only probably been married once, maybe twice, but we have done this over and over, and we are here to help you, to guide you through this process, and also so that you can relax and have those usah moments, right? So another thing as far as staying organized, I want you to take off from planning weddings, talking about your wedding every 4 to 6 weeks. Your life does not have to be consumed about planning your wedding. And I always tell my couples that when they come to me, I tell them that Tara is planning the wedding. They are having the wedding. Get it? You are having a wedding, but your planner is planning the wedding. So you're not going through all of those nuances. Step number 8, delegate. I talked about that before as far as delegating to people that you trust to do critical tasks for you, and people that are going to take ownership and know that they're going to do and get things done for you because they have your best interests at heart. How can you do some of these things? Maybe scheduling and videos are key now since we've been in this world of COVID. Delegate. Have Zoom calls, Skype calls, Google Meet, Google Duo. Google Meet and Google Duo, those are 2 online apps that are free where you can video with family and friends to discuss your wedding and to make those tasks, to delegate them out. And it's a good way also to talk with your vendors, to talk with your vendors also. Whew. Tip number 9, utilizing resources. Okay, so if you have a planner, your planner is your key resource, okay? But if you don't have a planner, you're planning your wedding yourself, here are some key resources that I highly recommend. Wedding Wire and The Knot are good key resources. They're good for helping you to find vendors, and they also have tools on there to help you to plan your wedding. Then there's also magazines that you can utilize for inspiration. In the DC market, there's Washingtonian Weddings on a national level. There's Lunalucci Bridal, Party Slate, Carrots and Cake, just to name a few. Wedding websites. You can do those to handle your RSVPs. Again, wedding blogs are good for advice and tips. Utilizing Google again. I talked about how Google is great for free complimentary resources that you can utilize to plan your wedding. So Google Drive is a good way for you to store all of your important documents and take those important documents and share them with your planner, your other wedding professionals, your wedding party, and family members that are helping you to plan your wedding. And last but not least, step number 10, work with a pro. This probably should have been step number 1, is to work with a pro. One of the best investments that you can make is to hire a wedding planner to help you to navigate through this process. Because again, I can't say it enough that we have been through every type of logistic that is out there. We have the tactical skills and the brilliance to masterfully manifest the dream of your wedding, and we do it successfully. Other wedding pros, again, make sure that you are hiring professional wedding professionals, right? Make sure that they have the required credentials, such as the credentials indicating that they are a true business, that they have a business license or insurance, a state certificate indicating where their business is registered. And you get asked to look at these documents. This is how you know that the person that you're hiring is not just someone that's just doing this on the side as a hobby, but they are a true professional business owner that also has a stake in creating a memorable event for you. Okay, so your wedding is a once in a lifetime event that you want to treasure forever, right? And I hope that these 10 steps that I have shared with you will be something that will help you to guide you through the process of planning your wedding. So I went through this very quickly. However, you can go to my blog and read more in depth as far as the tips that are needed to help you to plan your wedding. And there are 10 tips, 10 steps to help you to plan your wedding. Do we have any questions out there? While I'm waiting on questions, I'm going to put in here the link to, I'm putting in here the link to my website for this particular blog that goes in depth about planning the significant tips to planning your wedding. Okay? No questions? Well, I do thank you for joining me today, and I will be back to share more thoughts and more wisdom into going into planning your wedding. Thank you for joining me, and I will be back.